Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. So today I thought I would recount all the jobs that I've ever had in my life currently. And yeah, I have a feeling this is going to be quite a long video, so feel free to grab a drink, grab a snack, get comfy, and let's dive in. So the first job that I ever had was a paper run, as you do. I can't even remember exactly how old. I must have been 14, maybe 15. And I remember at the time I really wanted a job and I thought I was like too young to, you know, get, I guess, like a proper job. So I thought, let me just do that. So yeah, I usually always read like the local newspaper, and one day I saw an ad being like, hey, you basically just had to fill out this form and yeah, you got the job. So I did that and I started delivering newspapers twice a week. Actually quite hard, and it was really not a great job in terms of pay. I think I got like $12 a week, and I would spend like at least 2 or 3 hours, you know, delivering papers. So basically how it works, every day that you had to do deliveries, you'd get sent like this massive stack of newspapers, and then you'd basically just have to, you know, do your round. And I remember I had like probably 3 or 4 streets, and it was quite a lot of newspapers to carry with you at one time, because obviously I didn't want to go back home and then back on the streets, because like it was just, yeah, it was a bit of a mish. So yeah, I did that. And I remember probably like a few months in, I just got really lazy because I mean, I just thought I couldn't really be bothered doing it, to be honest. Yeah, it was also like winter time, and I remember some days it'd be really cold, and you know, your hands would get really dirty as well because of the ink. So I think a few months in I started like wearing gloves. But anyways, I got lazy and I basically ended up like skipping some houses because I thought, well, like no one reads this newspaper anywhere, like who's gonna care if I miss it. So there would be like on Wednesdays I would like do one side of the street, and then on Fridays I'd do the other side of the street. And then I remember I got an email saying that someone had complained because they weren't getting their newspapers. So I was like, oh shoot, I'm gonna get in trouble. And I just quit not long after that because I thought, you know, I'm probably gonna get fired, so I might as well leave. So yeah, that was my very first job. Like it was not a bad gig. Like I think I had started a few years later than other people. So I think if I was like maybe like 12 or 13, maybe I would have stayed a bit longer. But at that point I was like, you know what, I'm getting paid literally like peanuts. I might as well get at least a part-time job, you know, like at McDonald's or something, where I'd get more than like $12 a week. And yeah, so the next job I had was at Starbucks. I have made a couple videos. In fact, I've made a couple videos on some of these other jobs as well, so yeah, I'll link all of those down below if you want to check them out. But basically Starbucks was my first, I guess, proper job where I was like actually saving money. And I remember I really wanted to get like a proper job because I was going on exchange in Italy and I needed to save like a ton of money. So I thought I have to, you know, start working and I need to get a proper job. And I remember it took me so long, like literally I probably applied to over 100 jobs. But surprisingly, this was like, I think the first place that actually called me for an interview, and I got the job. And it wasn't an easy interview. Like I remember I had to go in once just to meet with the manager and just talk about my availability. And then the second time it was like a proper sit down interview, and it was like 45 minutes of just like questions after questions constantly. And I remember I used a couple of my newspaper delivery like examples as my answers, so I guess it did help in a way. But yeah, Starbucks was, honestly, I was just so grateful to have a job at that point. Because I'd never worked anywhere, so overall I had a really good experience. As you'd expect, like it was always busy and it was tiring, but I think that's the case for most like fast food places. And I remember I definitely took advantage of the free drinks. That was a pro. And yeah, anyways, I worked there quite a lot. I did about 20 hours a week, and at this point I was still 16, 17. And then yeah, eventually ended up resigning because I was going to go to Italy. And I remember I only gave 1 week's notice because I think that was what the contract had said. But obviously 1 week is, you know, pretty much nothing. So the manager was like freaking out, and basically she was like, can you stay a little bit longer? And I was like, yeah, nah. Because I do remember they were meant to give me a raise and I never got it. So that was a bit annoying. But anyways, that was Starbucks. And then my next job after that, so I'd gone to Italy for about 10 months, came back. At this point it was June 2018. So I had about 6 months before I was going to start uni. So I thought, you know, I need to get like another full-time job basically to just pass me over at that time. And I remember Tank was probably one of the first places I applied to, and I literally got a call like the next day after I applied, and then the process was just really quick, and yeah, basically started working there not long after. And then yeah, I was full-time, and I remember the Tank I worked at was actually, it was quite convenient because it was really close to home, and literally was like 5 minutes walk to where my mum was working, so even on my lunch breaks I'd just go see her. And yeah, overall it was quite nice. It was pretty chill, just like a local store. It wasn't like a busy mall or anything. I definitely had quite a few free drinks that I may or may not was allowed. But yeah, anyways, I liked Tank because it was like, there was no really cooking involved. It was more just like assembling, so I definitely enjoyed that. And also being plant-based, I didn't really have to deal with a lot of like meat, which is good. But the one thing I did kind of annoy me is that like their slogan is like eat plant-based, but they didn't have any vegan salads at the time. I think they do now, but that was Tank. I worked there for about 4 months, and in fact I actually was asked if I wanted to be trained for like assistant manager, but I knew that I was gonna quit soon, so I didn't. But yeah, it seems like a pretty good place to work, and there's definitely a lot of like good progression opportunities there. Like I knew this girl, she was 18, I think she was already a store manager. So yeah, if you're looking for somewhere where you can just you know, work for a couple months and just like progress really quickly and get to that manager title, I think that would definitely be a good place to do it. And then I ended up resigning. I think, yeah, I was going traveling, so I didn't really want to go through the hassle of like asking for leave, so I just quit. And also I think at that point I was kind of over food and hospitality, and I didn't really want to do that anymore. That was Tank. And job number 3 was Bunnings warehouse. I made many a video on my time there, so you can definitely check those out. But yeah, basically Bunnings, I just really wanted a retail job at the time, and I was starting uni, so it was beginning of 2019. And essentially I literally just went on a map around where I lived and just basically wrote down or like noted every single store, looked up their website, looked up whether they had jobs available, and that's kind of how I ended up applying to Bunnings. And then I went ahead and there was like a group interview assessment, pretty chill, and then there was another interview after that. So yeah, it was overall pretty easy to get in. I think one of the main reasons they hired me was because I can speak Mandarin, and there's a lot of people like around where I live that don't speak very good English, so I think being able to like translate really helped me get the role. Yeah, honestly I didn't really enjoy my time at Bunnings. It was just, I don't know, the vibe just wasn't it. Like it was just very boring. I think the only reason why I did stay so long, I only worked there for a year, but like that's long for me. So I just, yeah, I worked there for a while because I only really had 1 shift a week, so it was like quite manageable, and they do pay quite well compared to other places. And also you do get a discount card, which is nice. So yeah, that was Bunnings. Would I recommend it? I don't know. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I definitely think I couldn't really have stayed there much longer, like due to many reasons. But yeah, I don't really want to go into that. But anyways, next job was PASS mentor. So PASS basically stands for Pair Assisted Study Sessions. So I started doing this in mid 2019. So I was literally in my 2nd semester of university, and I was already like tutoring other people. And yeah, how did I get this job? It was kind of just, I guess, a lot of good luck. So basically I had gotten good grades in that 1st semester. So I got an email saying, would you be interested in being like a tutor? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I basically just went ahead, did a really quick and easy interview, and then just got the job. And yeah, this was a pretty chill job. I had it for about 3 semesters, and essentially it was just me teaching like 1 or 2 lessons a week. I wasn't even meant to be teaching, I was just meant to be a mentor, so people could come and ask me, you know, like help with their assessments and exams. And yeah, that was a pretty cool job. So we basically got paid, I think it's for 3 hours, even though we were only meant to do, you know, we were meant to teach for 1 hour, but like that other 2 hours was meant for prep, which I never really did. So yeah, that was a pretty good time. And I think it solidified an interest in teaching, and I still want to continue that. Like to this day, I think being able to teach people was really cool, and like passing on knowledge. And in a way, I feel like making videos, I kind of do that, but not really. But yeah, anyways, I enjoyed it, and yeah, really grateful for that, because I know that it helped me to get future roles as well. And then my next job was really random, but I basically worked as a security guard for like 2 days. I think it was like July 2020, June 2020, so around lockdowns had just kind of started easing, and they were wanting to basically hire people to help like manage the lines and like social distancing. So I applied, and I literally like got asked a few questions on the phone, and it was just the easiest like interview I've ever had. And then I basically just got hired on the spot, and they just ended up sending me like a shirt, and then they were like, sweet, go and do it. So yeah, so I think I worked at a bank for like 2 days, and I just stood outside. Yeah, it was pretty chill, to be honest. I was working with this other dude, and we were just like chatting for like the whole day. So I think security is definitely a pretty good job. I don't necessarily think it was suited to me. Honestly, I am like the last person you'd expect to be a security guard, but I think like if you're a guy, maybe or I don't know, if you're interested in that kind of thing, then it's definitely a pretty good role. Yeah, like I said, I just worked at a local bank during the day, and it was nothing sketchy, nothing really dangerous. So yeah, it was a pretty good gig, but it's not really something that I want to do anymore. I think I'm still technically an employee at that company. Like I never really quit, and I'm just a casual, so I still get like shift offers. But yeah, so that's not something I'd do again, but good experience nonetheless. And then the next job I had was at Rainbow's End. So once again, I've made a video on that where I talk more about it. But yeah, I worked as a catering assistant for about a year. Overall, it's a pretty chill job, like really not that interesting. People often think like, oh, you work at Rainbow's End, it must be super fun. But yeah, it's definitely not the same when you're working there. Like it's not that fun. But overall, like I met some cool people, and it was, yeah, I mean, it was a vibe. Would I recommend it? I don't know. I think if you were starting out and you just needed a job, yeah, but at that point I feel like I didn't really need to work there. I was just kind of desperate, and I just took it because it was like mid 2020, so obviously due to COVID and lockdowns, not a lot of places were hiring. And yeah, so that was that. And then another job I had was working at the election. So I think it was called an issuing officer. So I basically just worked on election day, and I had applied for this job like months beforehand, so before I got the Rainbow's End job. And yeah, basically I just had to go in for like a test, and it was just like a very short exam, basically just to make sure that you could, you know, match up like words so you didn't, you know, mess up the counting for elections and stuff. And yeah, overall it was a pretty good gig. Like you got paid fairly well, considering you're just working like one day, but it was a very long day. I remember on that voting Saturday, I had to go in about 7 or 7:30 in the morning, and I think we finished around 10 o'clock. So it was a very long day, and I mean, we did get breaks in between, but I think it was just not organized very well. So towards the end, when we were like packing up, we could have probably like saved an hour had the organizers just told us exactly what we were meant to do, because like we started packing up and we, you know, put certain things in other envelopes, and then we were told, actually that's not where you put it, take everything out, redo it. So it was just a lot of like annoying stuff. But yeah, overall that was a pretty good gig. It was cool to see how like behind the scenes, I guess, of elections and that voting process. So that was interesting. Would I do it again? Probably not. I don't really see the point. I mean, if you had friends, maybe it's like fun to like chat with, but most of the other people I was working with were like, you know, middle-aged or like elderly people that were just doing it, I guess, is more like they thought of it as like a volunteer thing where it's just like for fun, whereas I kind of just wanted to do it I guess I thought it would be like easy money, but it was a very long day. So when you divided out the amount of hours to how much we actually got paid, it wasn't that much money. The next job I had was a temporary job, and it was an internship from basically the summer, from the end of 2020 to the beginning of 2021. So I worked at a government organization, and I remember I was super stoked to get this internship. Like, I had been applying pretty much for the entire year, and I finally got one, so I was very, very proud, and it was a pretty like well-known organization as well. So yeah, it was in Wellington, so I moved down there for the summer, and honestly I think I kind of like manifested it in a way, because I obviously, due to like COVID, I couldn't travel and I really wanted to go somewhere different. So the fact that that internship was in Wellington, I think made me even more interested, and I guess made me try harder, and ultimately I feel like led to me getting the role. But yeah, so it was a pretty chill internship. Honestly, I didn't really know what to expect. So when I got there, it was a bit overwhelming. Like, it was a very big office, a very big building. It was about 7 or 8 stories, and I think 2,000 or 3,000 people were working in that office. So it was really big. But yeah, I think it was more chill. I definitely expected it to be, I guess, more demanding, but yeah, I mean, working in the public sector, there is a reputation there, and I think it is partly due to reality. Like, it is very laid back and relaxed, and quite slow paced. At least that's what I found. In the team that I was working, you know, it was like on my floor, basically as soon as it hit 5 o'clock, the aircon would shut off and everyone was gone. So yeah, it was a pretty good place to do an internship. Would I go back? I don't know. I don't think I would, to be honest, at least not right now, just because I really want to try something different, and I just think, yeah, I didn't really enjoy, it wasn't that I didn't enjoy it, but I felt like the work I was doing there wasn't really challenging, and it wasn't as technical as I would have liked it to be. And I do think that ended up hurting me in a way, because my title was basically data analyst, and I didn't really do any proper data analysis. Like, I didn't use any programming languages or any technologies, or even barely use Excel. So now when I've applied to other jobs and they ask me like, what did you do during that role, I really have nothing to talk about, because I didn't really do much. So even though the internship was a good experience, not having a lot to do, and, you know, ultimately not really achieving a lot, I feel like has hindered me at this point. But in saying that, I'm super grateful for the experience and the other interns that I met like during that time. It was really cool, and yeah, overall it was just a good time. If you have the opportunity to do an internship in another city, I definitely recommend it, because you learn a lot, and it's just like a good experience. So yeah, that was my internship. And then finally, my last job I've had is a YouTuber, which I guess I'm still doing. So I've been making videos for, gosh, more than 5 years now, and I recently just got my first ever check from Google, like AdSense. And so some of you may have noticed that my videos have been monetized. In fact, I've had ads for about 3-4 months now, and I recently just got paid, because it is a very long process, which I can make a separate video on. But yeah, this is probably the most enjoyable job. I mean, I don't think of it as a job, even though, you know, sometimes editing can be a hassle, like, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, this really is, I mean, it's the best job I've ever had, for sure. But in saying that, it's not like I'm making a ton of money right now. So that check was more just like the act of receiving. I'm sure if you guys have a YouTube channel, you know what it feels like. But like, even though it's not a ton of money, like, just the act of getting your first paycheck, like, from doing something that you truly enjoy, it just, like, it means a lot. So the fact that, yeah, I was able to do that, it's great. And yeah, it's thank you to all of you that make it possible, people that watch my videos. Yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, found it entertaining, hopefully learned something new, and yeah, keep on And yeah, thank you for your support. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.